promotional applied on some roads. However, the dust is still unbearable, especially on market days when the roads are usually busy. Residents are calling on government to intervene and put these roads in good shape.
In fact, as I speak with you, we have been experiencing accidents every day, as you can see the clippings. Every day we experience accidents, and then not quite long, we even have to lose about some people's lives here. Our prayer is that before we get the end of 2024, there will be a lot of improvement on this road.
We are appealing to government and the authorities that they should improve upon it, so that when you are going to Garu or any place, the nature of the road that is dusty would be taken care of.
The Timpani District Chief Executive, Isaka Annabida, while commending government for awarding some roads for construction, said the Timpani Gabiri Zambala roads have been completed and in use. He says the contractor on the Y Junction Timpani to Wayanga roads has not returned to work again. He was also worried that some contractors have not even shown up since 2018.
The Timpani Gabiri Zambala road has been completed and handed over, and we are using it. However, there are 4 feeder roads that were awarded together in the last 4 years, but the contractors have never stepped aside. So we still appeal that if something can be done.
The Timpani district was carved out of the then Garu Timpani district in 2018. The people are vegetable farmers, raise livestock including cattle and guinea fowl, and therefore need good roads to attract good market.
The Ghana Institute of Journalism has graduated a cohort of students as an autonomous communication institute in Ghana. The rector of the school, Professor Kwansa Eidu, announced this at the school's 15th graduation on Friday in Accra.
This is the last time the Sub-Saharan Best Communication University will singularly award certificates, as it will finally merge with the Ghana Institute of Languages and the National Film and Television Institute after a governing council of the merged school is instituted. Addressing the congregants, Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Dr. Efua Asabi Asari, challenged the graduating population to be innovative in their line of work.
Keep the intellectual curiosity you've had as a student and never let that go. Never stop seeking new answers. When you can't find them elsewhere, create them yourself. Just because you can't find a current solution doesn't mean that one can be found. It just means no one else has had your unique perspective and applied themselves with a passion to finding the solution.
2 foreign graduates of GIJ, Mr. Ibrahim Ba from the Gambia and Ms. Rona Nankunda, a Ugandan, said though they enrolled at the peak of COVID-19 with its challenges, they feel proud to have graduated from the best communication university in sub-Saharan Africa. The rector, Professor Kwansa Eidu, spoke about the measure.
The UMAC bill, which sought to merge the Ghana Institute of Journalism, the Ghana Institute of Languages, and the National Film and Television Institutes into one university, the University of Media and Communication, has received presidential assent and is now UMAC Act 1059. As we await the formation of the University Council, which will enable the real work of integrating the component institutions to birth our new university, we are hopeful that this merger will provide significant opportunities to build on the synergies offered by the component institutes, while safeguarding the history and identity of each institution.
He, however, was not happy about the attitude of some students who graduated yesterday because of a change in event culminated by the weather. 1,457 have graduated since yesterday with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, PR and journalism options, and diploma in journalism. The rest are MA in journalism, PR, media studies, and development communication categories, respectively.
An appeal has been made for science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics STEM programs to be included in the curriculum of special schools in the country. Stakeholders in special needs education say this will whip up their interest in STEM education without leaving them behind.
In order to bring students with special needs on board STEM education in the country, Rotary Club of Accra Spintex, in collaboration with Haven International and its development partners, is embarking on a project to introduce science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics STEM programs to students with special needs across the country. The project is targeting students between the ages of 8 to 15 years. A facilitator of the project, Mr. Robert Kumaple, said the students will be provided with kits to study with under the guidance of a resource person.
They are currently working on a hands-on project. It's kind of a free form where they can build anything, including boats, wooden cars, but they are using two kebab sticks and glue. So the whole principle behind this is for them to understand that they have the freedom to innovate, they have the freedom to think outside the box, and they also have to work in a team. They have to embrace diverse opinions.
Our theme is inclusion leads to acceptance. So far we've invited children from the old Lashibi Basic School, which is a deprived school with children from low-income homes who have been brought in so that they can begin to explore other career options that they ordinarily thought of.
The president of the Rotary Club of Accra Spintex, Mr. Jonas Ayikwe Ayi, said the project is in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is hinged on ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all.
The Ashanti Regional Health Directorate hopes to administer 400,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines in the 43 districts of the region in the phase 2 of the national COVID-19 vaccination exercise. At a news conference in Kumasi, the Ashanti Regional Director for Health, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkrine, disclosed that only 30% of the targeted population in the Ashanti region are fully vaccinated. Currently, Ghana's COVID-19 active case count is below 100. For the past 3 weeks, the Ashanti region has recorded no new cases. The region's cumulative case count stands at 22,299 with 389 deaths. In an update of the current COVID-19 case count and management in the Ashanti region, the Ashanti Regional Director of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkrine, said, compared to other countries, Ghana has made gains in the fight against COVID-19. He cautioned the public to still adhere to the safety protocols against the disease in spite of the easing of restrictions by the government.
Unless we achieve 70% coverage of the population, you can never say that the vaccination we're giving is adequate. So we are here to solicit your support to go to what we call COVID-19 NID. And that's what we are starting from today. So from 21st to 25th, the whole nation is embarking on COVID-19 vaccination. The reason is that we want to achieve a very high herd immunity that can help us to sustain the gains that we've achieved over the years.
Dr. Tinkrine encouraged all who have not been vaccinated to take advantage of the second round of the national vaccination exercise and get vaccinated. This, he said, will help Ghana achieve herd immunity against the disease. Street foods and those from restaurants and hotels have been found to contain high levels of trans fatty acids as a result of cooking with overused oils. Although Food and Drugs Authority does not have the capacity to test for trans fatty acids in food, it is collaborating with Institute of Leadership and Development to develop a regulatory legislation to enforce a reduction in trans fatty acids in the food manufactured, imported and consumed. The two bodies are also advocating for a mandatory nutrition labeling and ultimately a ban in the inclusion of trans fatty acids in vegetable oils and margarines, as well as other food products. Sarah Fori with the details.
Trans fatty acids are unhealthy fats and oils found in food. Food products containing trans fat are used for enhancing taste, texture and feel, but are dangerous to health. Although found in some proteins naturally, most baked and fried foods or pre-packaged are said to be high in trans fats. Reusing cooking oils over and over again increases the content of trans fats. Hoteliers, street food vendors and individuals who cook at home all fall culprit to this trend. Trans fat increases bad cholesterol, which is accountable for heart diseases, stroke, diabetes, kidney failure, among other non-communicable diseases. Although the WHO recommends less than 1% as the maximum of trans fat content in foods, some research conducted in Ghana revealed some locally prepared snacks have up to 27% trans fat content. There are no laws and regulations on trans fat in Ghana, unlike the US, Canada, Austria and Denmark, which have laws to either limit or ban trans fats in products produced or imported in those countries. The Institute of Leadership and Development, advocates of healthy diets and populations, has initiated a campaign for Ghana to establish a policy or legislation to regulate trans fat in the country. They collaborated with the Foods and Drugs Authority to engage ministries, departments and agencies and some actors in the food supply chain to adopt a DEX review on measures to eliminate trans fats in the country.
These are countries that have not started making any move on TFE. However, they are countries that through their health policies, have made some commitment that, looking into the future, we will eliminate TFE. Surprisingly, South Africa is the only country in Africa that have gotten to that level of the light green.
Yet, the FDA has not got the capacity to test for trans fatty acids in food.
Area that we've seen there's a shortfall in the area of trans fatty acids where we have to do work.
By 2023, the WHO hopes that countries would have instituted measures to limit the content of trans fatty acids in foods to at most 2% in food and 5% in oils. Until then, the Institute is still advocating through awareness creation so the public would amend their diets. Sarah for GBC News, Accra.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah, has lauded the chief and people of Wiamwase for their efforts in improving the standard of living of the people. He said over 80% of the development projects at Wiamwase are being undertaken by the natives of the town, and this is aspiring other communities to emulate. Mr. Osei-Mensah was speaking at the inauguration of the SDA maternity block at Wiamwase in the Ashanti region. Later, moving on in other stories, 900 indictments and international arrest warrants have been issued by the Rwandan government to 33 countries, including Ghana, for individuals suspected to have committed crimes related to the 1994 genocide in the country. The Foreign and International Cooperation Minister for Rwanda, Vincent Biruta, who expressed appreciation to the countries, urged others providing sanctuary for genocide fugitives not to shield but to bring them to justice and forestall similar occurrences in the future.
The Foreign Affairs Minister was addressing this year's Kwibuka at the Accra International Conference Center. Kwibuka, which means remember, is a commemorative event in honor of those killed in the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. The genocide, which began in April 1994 and lasted 100 days, saw the loss of over 1 million lives, rape and sexual violence against more than 500 women, the destruction of basic infrastructure, displacement of millions of people, thousands of children rendered orphans having to fend for themselves, with countless survivors also developing psychological problems. The Rwandan High Commissioner to Ghana, Dr. Aissa Kasiara, said the celebration is to reflect on the path that led Rwanda to the genocide and to proffer measures to prevent future occurrence.
Absolutely important that we uphold the truth of what happened. For sadly, really hard to comprehend. But sadly, there are still many voices elsewhere that seek to distort, trivialize, revise, and blatantly deny that this heinous evil, the genocide against the Tutsi, took place.
Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shelia Yokobotwe, said the responsibilities go beyond commemoration, urging for more vigilance, tolerance, and lawful behaviors among societies across the world.
The Rwandan genocide of the Tutsis did not happen in isolation. It was fueled by hate, hate speech, hate crimes, and incitement to violence by a few individuals in a position of power until it became entrenched and acceptable in the society in general.
The Foreign and International Cooperation Minister of Rwanda, Vincent Biruta, acknowledged the role played by Ghanaian peacekeepers in the Rwandan political crisis at the time, particularly in the protection of lives and property. He called for more support from partner countries to help preserve the memories of victims as Rwanda strives to build a strong foundation for national development.
We have sought the support of some countries, including Ghana, to open the archives related to the genocide against the Tutsis with the goal of honoring our history and preserving the memory, which are two important components of our ongoing process of healing and achieving unity and reconciliation.
You're welcome to the business segment. July this year will mark the first anniversary of the reclamation of the world's biggest port for hazardous to ascertain the investment opportunities that the private sector can gain from the redevelopment of the area. The Association of Ghana Industries and the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council has organized the Greater Accra Investment Opportunities Conference in Accra.
The Agbogloshi Dam in Ghana was a massive e-waste dam site. Despite the environmental and health impacts of improperly managed e-waste, the dam site was booming with menial entrepreneurial activities. Almost a year since the land was reclaimed, a proposed redevelopment scheme has been developed for the land on which the demolished Agbogloshi market in Accra was situated. At a gathering of investors led by the Association of Ghana Industries at the Greater Accra Regional Investment Opportunities Conference, it came to light that the Agbogloshi market would be turned into the West African village. This includes a financial hub, metallurgical waste plant, test tracks, maintenance, repair, overhaul workshops, among others. The president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Humphrey Enyimdake, said the AGI is poised to collaborate with governments in the redevelopment of the area.
However, we wish to urge the minister and his team that as they go on in deliberating on various property rates and permits for the various engagements in their revenue generation models, they should consult the AGI and its members in arriving at such laudable rates and competitive rates for industries and businesses in Accra.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Henry Korte, said the project is to give the area a facelift and create jobs for the region and Ghanaians at large.
Today's engagement stems out of our resolve at the RCC to collaborate with the private sector to accelerate development in the Greater Accra region. You would agree with me, the private sector is the engine of growth, and the constraints on the public resource and physical space. The importance and role of investment structure in the growth of our economy cannot be overemphasized.
The Municipal Chief Executive of Ablikuma Central, Madam Mariam Amli, said she is positive of the location of one hospital under the Agenda 111 scheme, but currently awaiting all other projects to be situated on the reclaimed land.
This year's rains has started on time, but to ensure that the youth in agribusiness in Ghana get the needed support on time, Cosmos Initiative Center and MasterCard Foundation have joined forces together to provide them with seed funding, financial support, training, among others, to enable them stay ahead of the curve.
The agriculture sector is the backbone of Ghana's economy. It is the largest employer. It is the main driver of Ghana's foreign exchange earnings, with cocoa alone raking in $2 billion annually. Most of the labor force is rural-based. For this reason, the MasterCard Foundation and Cosmos Innovation Center are partnered to train the next generation of young leaders and entrepreneurs in Ghana's agricultural sector. Speaking to GBC News, the Executive Director of KIC, Mr. Benjamin Jankesi, said the initiative will address challenges in the agri-sector, boost business across the 6 regions of the country, and create opportunities for young Ghanaians.
We believe that this program in itself allows the people who come into the students and graduates who come into it be self-employed and also give them the opportunity to employ others. And by that, we'll be reducing the unemployment situation in the country. Agriculture in itself has the potential to employ many more people, and through this program we believe that for the many businesses that will be created, they will be able to employ many more graduates and also non-graduates.
Mr. Jankese stressed that his outfit is poised to make agriculture very attractive to the youth, to ensure that Ghana's food security is in the hands of her future leaders.
If you look at what is happening globally, there's an urgent need for us to look at food security and food safety for every country. And I believe that is one of the key reasons why KIC is to contribute to the future food security of the country and the continent.
Students and graduates from tertiary institutions can now apply the Agri-Tech program via the KIC portal.
The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI, at the University of Ghana is currently working on a white paper to allow for investment and training opportunities for farmers and industry players in the value chain of 6 major staple crops to grow their business by the end of the year. The white paper will also outline modules for improving food and nutrition security and socio-economic development in the agricultural sector.
Ghana is determined to promote investor confidence in the area of agribusiness, the existence of a stable political environment, and reformed economic policies in all sectors of the economy propels the country to be the best location for doing agribusiness in the sub-region. Agriculture remains key to Ghana's economic strongholds as it employs about 45% of the population. The sector also offers a unique set of advantages to interested investors, including large plots of arable lands, ecological zones that make the country suitable to produce a diverse range of commodities, a strong enabling environment for investment, and established export channels to Europe and the United States. For instance, cashew is one of the country's important tropical tree crops, contributing largely to the over 57% of the world's cashew, which comes from sub-Saharan Africa. This was made possible by government introduction of the 10-year cashew development plan in 2018. Leveraging on such huge prospects, the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement is calling on investors and policymakers to emulate the effort of government in the cashew nuts value chain by channeling adequate revenue and attention to 6 major staple crops, including rice, maize, soybean, cowpea, cassava, and tomato, to motivate and encourage farmers and SMEs in the value chain to expand production. This is to ensure a win-win situation for producers and investors.
Actors from the business sector to think about developing a compelling case for investments into, if you like, developing varieties and scaling up the varieties so that we can get the varieties to farmers to impact productivity in their fields. Almost every year we import seed from South Africa, from other countries. We need to stop seed importation. So what we're doing is to look at seed developed in Ghana, how we can get the seeds developed in Ghana to farmers in partnership with the private sector. So this will be a huge contribution to the Planting for Food and Jobs program because it will cut down on seed importation.
Proposals and strategies to support the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement to develop the white paper on the 6 staple crops have been presented by experts and captains of industry in the agricultural sector at a forum in Accra. The center expects the final report produced to receive the necessary attention to affect the anticipated call to action by the end of 2022.
You're watching is our live on GBC News. Time to cross over to the international scene. Guinean ex-president Alpha Condé was disposed by